Yes, I can do that.
Oh, for this one? 6
This is all yogi, but yeah, I can do that.
I mean, whatever.
But I have also a beautiful collection from Srila Prabhupada about preaching and very. I feel always it's very related to this place. You know.
Whatever you think, you just share. You just share whatever you think relevant. Do you need the table? One?
No. Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihare Kapajana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dare Jaya Girivara Dare Kapajana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Dare Jaya Girivara Dare Yashodanandana Jaya Bratajana Ranjana Jaya Rachojana Ranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Vratajana Ramjana Yavrachojana Ranja Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravana Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava 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 Jaya Kunja Bihari Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharana Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pushkati Desatara Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we read today from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is the 6th chapter, text 47. Just read. Yoginamapi sarvesham matiganantaratmana shadavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Yoginam, of all gopis, of all yogis. Just sounds similar. Api, also. Sarvesham, all types of. Madgatena, abiding in me. Anta Atmana, always thinking of me within. Shraddhavan, in full faith. Bhajate, renders transcendental loving service. Yaha, one who. Mam, me, the Supreme Lord. Saha, he, me, mine. Yuktatamaha, the greatest yogi. Mataha is considered. Translation. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in a transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in a verb bhaj, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaja. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod and may be called discourteous, but one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do this, he falls down. The Bhagavatam confirms this as follows: Yesham Purusham Sakshat Atma Prabhavanishvara Nabajananti Avajananti Sthanad Brashta Patanti Araha. Anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty under the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. In this verse, also the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to the Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or to any other common living entity. The word avajananti, used in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is also found in the Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mam mudha. Only the fools and rascals deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Such fools take it upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without any attitude of service to the Lord. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajanti and the word worship. And the culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in bhakti yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti in bhakti yoga. Yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards the destination of bhakti yoga. From me, beginning of karma yoga to the end of bhakti yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma yoga, without fruitive result, is beginning of this path. When karma yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called jnana yoga. When jnana yoga increases in meditation on the supersoul by different physical processes and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, it is called Bhakti yoga, the culmination. Factually, Bhakti yoga is the ultimate goal, but to analyze Bhakti yoga minutely, one has to understand these are the yogas. The yogi who is progressive is therefore on the truth path of eternal good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called by that particular name, karma yogi, jnana yogi, or dhyana yogi, raja yogi, hatha yogi, etc. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of bhakti yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all the other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga. Just as when we speak of Himalayan, we refer to the world's highest mountains, of which the highest peak, Mount Everest, is considered to be the culmination. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shamasundara, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower-garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous lustre, which is called the Brahmajyoti. He incarnates in different forms, such as Rama, Nishinga, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he descends like a human being, as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, master, and he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by bhakti yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literature. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata devetita guru tasyaite katitahi artha prakashanti mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Bhaktirasya bhajanam tadiha mutrupadi nairashyena mushmin manahakalpanam etat eva naishkarmyam. Bhakti means devotional service to the Lord which is free from desire for material profit, either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclinations, one should fully absorb the mind in the Supreme. That is the purport of Naishkarmya. These are some of the means for performance of bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of the yoga system. And thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purpose is the 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Sankhya Yoga and Brahma Vidya. So, yoga, the word yoga, is of course today very much known, much more known in my lifetime as when I was growing up. Yoga was something for India, some India yoga, some skinny man sitting in Himalaya and all this. And then yoga spread towards the West, partially also by dint of our book distribution and by the dint of popularizing the yoga process. However, it is a spontaneous tendency of the conditioned soul to create the kingdom of God without God. This is always underlying current where the conditioned soul tries to remove the God. They may not admit this even, but the confrontation with God, they see it as a confrontation. We don't see it like this. We see it as a revelation. They see it more like confrontation. Because they know God is the biggest, the ultimate controller, the most powerful. So they think, oh, it's like police, isn't it? He's watching us. So demons always try to cover this up. Yes, you can make yoga. Yeah. But they don't explain what the real meaning of yoga is. Prabhupada gave much more simple explanation to yoga, as he writes here. He says, yoga means one and one is two. That means me, the soul, and Krishna, the highest soul, are uniting. That's two. Simple definition of bhakti yoga. Yeah? Prabhupada always makes things so simple and so understandable. So there are devotees, I know personally, who have even yoga schools. Now it's not really I think if I would pose as a yoga teacher, some people would really laugh, I am not very convincing on that. But there are devotees who are very knowledgeable about the different yoga paths described here even. And they present themselves like yoga teachers. There's one school in Varaždin, I don't want to go in detail. I just had a program there last time I was visiting. I was going, will I meet a group of people, who sits there, not very inspiring to me, it's like, I always remember Prabhupada said, yes, in India there are also many yogis. I saw them sitting on the side of the street, meditating and snoring. This is one of the principles of yoga. You don't close the eyes. A yogi is usually this technically exercised tapasvis. They focus the eyes on the tip of the nose. Half closed. If you close completely, and if you open, then you see so many subjects which are distracting your attention. But if somebody would tell me you meditate about the tip of your nose, I don't find my nose so inspiring, sorry. When I look in the mirror, I think, oh no, I have a nose like my grandmother, So it's not very inspiring to meditate upon, But they do that in a technical way. The principle behind to withdraw the senses from the sense objects is correct. That's the principle of yoga. And to meditate, to focus the mind, simplify the mind. Mind is not simple by nature. Mind is a bubbling machine constantly producing some ideas and thoughts and remembering. He's a nostalgic idiot who is always bringing up old pictures. So I remember, oh yeah. People on a mental platform, it's terrible. They are completely captured by the mind, and the mind is like you are chained in a cinema and they show you the movie in an unpredictable way. Crazy movie with pictures flashing here and there, scenes, and you go, mental people are like that. Did you ever notice mental people, when they are really tormented by the mind, they walk up and down. They go this way and that way, this way and that way. Why? Because the mind is like a pendulum. It goes this way, accepting, rejecting, accepting, rejecting. So they follow the path of the mind, just walking back and forth, back and forth. Horrible. It's like in jail, In jail they also open the cell and you can walk back and forth a little and then they lock you in again. But the problem is that the mind never stops. day and night. Yeah? At night, when the intelligence fades out and it's weak, and the mind goes, okay, let's have a feast. And the mind has no discrimination because he has no brain. There's no intelligence. So he's just patching things together. Images, even from previous lifetimes. What you saw, what you see, and the mind just patches it together. So you dream at night, my grandmother is speaking to me. But why she has a horns like a deer? Because once upon a time you saw a deer, then you saw the grandmother, and the mind puts it together, a grandmother with the horns. Why not? Crazy guy. It's crazy what the mind can do to you. One devotee, he came running to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please help, I am so offensive. I was just thinking how to slap you in the face. He was very honest. Prabhupada just smiled and he said, it's okay, it's just the mind. Oh, thank you for the information. Therefore, chanting Hare Krishna is so beautiful. Because just by chanting, and some devotees go, I could say it myself even when chanting, the mind is still there. In between, trying to say something. So one devotee told Prabhupada, I'm chanting, but still the mind. Prabhupada said, okay, go in a field out there and scream Hare Krishna. The sound vibration, overpower him. And ultimately what we recommend, especially young devotees, they struggle with oh, my mind again. So we recommend, ignore him. You don't have to listen to that guy. It's like you drive a car, We always used to give a very simple example. You drive a car and you go with the wife shopping, okay? You drive into the city, into the traffic, and the wife goes, look over there! They have a sale! Look! And you go, wow! And then immediately you create danger. You are in the middle of the traffic. So you explain to the wife, please, don't scream like this. You are diverting my attention. I have to focus on the driving. Okay. 2 minutes later, hey, look at this! And then you go, I told you, I have to focus on the traffic. Okay. After a few minutes, what you do? Just ignore it. She is not driving, I am driving. I am actually Ishvara, small one. I have the power and I have the control. Actually, I can learn how to control my body. Not completely, I cannot stop it to age, okay? It's going to be aging anyway. Disease will come and go, yeah. There will be all kinds of things, but there are functions in the body I can gain control. I don't have to eat something just because it smells good. I don't have to touch something because I am very interesting to touch. No, I don't have to do that. Prabhupada went so far, he said, that's a yogi. He said, I can also see there are so many beautiful girls, young girls in this movement. I can see that. I'm an old man, but I'm in a man body. I can see that. I can appreciate even. Oh, this is really beautiful. But you Americans, you always plan further. You have to go for it. And that's exactly the difference. So Bhakti Yoga is a very natural process of what is defined as the highest process. Now, initially when I heard devotees, and it's quite few, having yoga schools, I was going, oh no. Prabhupada called it pushing nose, That's the breathing exercise. Pushing nose. Like the program I had in Varanasi, I was going, oh, this can be just this kind of people, what do you want to preach, love of Godhead, very abstract. No. This was one of the most ecstatic kirtans I experienced on the last tour. And now there were all the devotees present, that's a fact. But in between was the yoga people. And they were all, Hare Krishna! So it's a couple of devotees managing this, very nice devotees. And I told them, this is yogis here. Did you teach them that? They said, yeah, gradually. First we make, and then Hare Krishna, sound vibration. You don't tell them even it's God. You tell them this is a vibration to raise the consciousness. Oh yeah, this is... You present Mahamantra like a technique, which is actually not like that, but it's Krishna, but you cannot. It remembers me on the first days of preaching in the Eastern countries. Actually, devotees entered Eastern countries, communistic countries, under the pretense to be yoga teachers. Communists didn't mind yoga. It was not politically motivated, and it improved the health of the workers. Good. Anything that improves the health of the workers is welcomed. My God, I saw photos from these programs, underground programs. Hare Krishna sits on the floor and chants, and my godbrother Alanard sits next to him with a midanga. They brought a midanga. Surrounded by maybe 60 rather well-fed communistic women, dressed up in this jogging out, with this exercise outfits, and they are like this, and they go around them like this. Now, Hare Krishna was sannyasi, and Alanad, I think, no, not yet, but, I asked Hare Krishna, how was it? He said, I chanted with closed eyes. Then I opened the eyes and looked at Alanat. Then he looked back on me, he said, it's like hell here, isn't it? So they did just that. No lecture. Just that, chanting, and then prasadam, which was quite simple, sometimes just popcorn or whatever. That was the preaching, beginning of the preaching in the East. But Hare Krishna told me, these people chanting, practicing yoga, they sensed immediately there must be more to it. So he said, and we knew there are KGB agents in between. They're always there, watching, noticing. So we were very careful. Nevertheless, he said, it came to a point. A smaller group of these people, they addressed us in a dressing room outside. They said, okay, we are chanting this, but what is this Hare Krishna? And Hare Krishna said, I lost control. I was going, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it's all Bhakti Yoga, you have to surrender and serve Him. And they were like, we were suspecting there's something like that. They were happy. So this is one little pictures from the early preaching in the Eastern countries, the underground preaching. So this is people will sense it automatically. It's a very dangerous thing we are doing to people. Please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Then they come back and they say, hey, I'm chanting since 2 months. You know what? I am not happy. You made me miserable. Before that, I didn't know one damn thing. I was sleeping, drinking, I woke up, I did something, I was a kind of peaceful man. When people sleep, they look kind of peaceful, isn't it? No, they are not, but they look like that. So anyway, now I chant Hare Krishna. The first thing I realized, I'm an idiot. I am not this body. Anything what I did was for the body, which I am not. It's scary. In the beginning, in the early stages, this is very important. And new bhaktas, new devotees, they have to be very personally and very carefully attended, because they are not situated yet, really. They don't have the full taste, but on the other side, they don't have the full taste material either. So it's like sitting between two chairs, and you are afraid there's an empty space in between. You will crash through. It's a touchy thing. There's even something we used to call, you may call it speculation, anyway, we used to call it 4 or 5 years syndrome. You practice Krishna consciousness, you are establishing Krishna consciousness, you are engaged in devotional service, and 4 or 5 years, Maya comes around. She goes, "Boof! What have you done? Look at yourself. You are dressed in this strange way, no hair. Do you understand that Krishna is really not different from his name? Do you really understand it? Try to understand it. Think about it." And then you see suddenly the devotee becomes silent. I have to think about it. Did you ever notice mental people, they get completely shut down? I have to think about it. The word think and sink, it's very similar. So mental people are like that. And suddenly our bhakta and our devotee is in crisis. But it's just a temporary thing. For me, it was easy. I don't remember ever having such a crisis, because I didn't know where to go. Maya didn't offer me any alternative, which I found kind of tangible, to leave Krishna consciousness. Where to go? I was absolutely not inspired to join these people. You have to study. Study what? So you have to study how many insects are in the tropical forest. You think, yeah, well, they are there, yeah, the insects are there, what does this have to do with me? So, when we arrive at the point of bhakti yoga, this automatically includes self-realization. This automatically includes introspection. And then this is challenging. Because most people, they don't want to see the real self. They accept designations, titles, like that, and they live along that. Most people, they just live along the given patterns, which were given to them by the society, by the parents, by the surroundings. Here you are born, you live like that, you do like the others do, it's Christmas, and then it's New Year. Actually, New Year, in China they have another New Year. In Russia they have a different New Year. So, it's very relative, okay? But no, everybody is doing it. You go along the patterns. Holiday. You drive in the winter to the mountain and glide down the hill, and in the summer you drive to the ocean and jump in. It's patterns. It's everybody doing the same thing, and people feel safe with it. Actually, they feel even safe by living on top of each other. In this big houses just cramped up. This gives a feeling of safety, yes. Like animals, herds, Krishna consciousness is, Srila Prabhupada himself defined himself. He said, I was always freedom lover. Prabhupada was always going against the stream. Okay? The British established a certain rules in India. This is advancement. This is progress. That's how you live. And many Indians copied that. Until today. Tea time. There was no tea time before the British came. On certain point of the day you have to drink your tea. It's culture. Before it was never like that. But people copy blindly. Prabhupada never took it. That's the reason he became sympathetic towards the Gandhi movement, because Gandhi said, no, we are not going to join it. And Gandhi was propagating self-sufficiency. That aspect was very appealing to Srila Prabhupada. Self-sufficiency. Don't. And it goes along the verse of Bhagavatam where it's stated that in Kali Yuga is an age which is symbolized by artificial dependency on another. People think they are free, people think they are independent, but they are all totally dependent without knowing that even. They are completely living in dependency, artificial one. They don't know how to get their food. They don't know how to build their houses. I was always joking because when you have no money and you have a house, well, then you learn about construction quite fast actually. And you realized, I can do so many things myself and I'm not even professional. People call a professional company to change a water type on a wall. It's like, paying lots of money for that. I can buy a water tap in Bauhaus and do it myself. No, completely dependent. We depend on information. People are so proud, I'm so informed. From what? Artificial intelligence, that's the latest. What is it? Just collected data from others. It's actually stolen, okay? It's accumulated stolen data which they patch together, and it can spit out certain information, certain image, according to how you program it. And they think this is perfect. Look at this, how much we have stolen. Look at this, how we can use it. It will make your life easier, isn't it? No. Srila Prabhupada, way, way back, he already predicted all this with a simple analysis. How can you achieve perfection when you operate a body with imperfect senses? Tendency to be in illusion, tendency to cheat, and tendency to believe lies. This is built in. This is called Maya. So how can you expect somebody doing something perfect with such an equipment? They go, no, we have a perfect machine. Yeah, but that machine was developed with imperfect senses. So it cannot be perfect. It looks like perfect. It looks like it can do things I cannot do. It's not perfect. And they get the proof all the time served out. Why are things breaking down? Because they are not perfect. Why are people getting confused? Because they get so much confusing information. All this. All this can be cleared out in Krishna consciousness. How? To simplify things and come to the basic, to the essence. Logic, that word logic actually is only applicable in Krishna consciousness. As soon as you are not Krishna conscious, your life becomes quite illogical. Plain. Prabhupada said, ladies and gentlemen, please use your brain. Think logically. Who are you? Are you this body or not? Of course I am this body. Listen what you are saying every day. Just listen to yourself. You are saying, this is my body. It's used. How is your body? Oh, my body like this, my body like that. Think what you are saying. If this is your body, logical question is, who is you? This is my microphone. Well, obviously something else. This is my harmonium, so something else. So where's the logic in this? Nobody says I body. No, it's my body. My mind. His ego. This is all foreign entities But you identify yourself with this so crazy. You think this is you? Think about it. Nobody wants to do it. They all be at the, One reporter, he flipped out and he said, Prabhupada, you Hare Krishnas, you cannot be right because you have answer for everything. That alone was so suspicious to him. Because in the academic world, starting with the academic world, ending up in the media, you cannot present things, okay, this is it. This is absolute, right? No. It could be different, You have to always leave an option for another Krishna, for another way of Krishna consciousness. And you see it manifesting all the time. It's all the time coming up. People start, accept Krishna consciousness, but then they feel, oh, this is just Krishna consciousness, right? Same Krishna consciousness. They think, yeah, but let's create a little bit new Krishna consciousness. Something a little bit different. Something new. Prabhupada said nothing new. He called it old wine in new bottles. Same substance. They always tell me, but we are in a year 2026 now, okay? So look how Maya is manifesting 2026. Yeah, there are technical differences, but when I look back, the same Maya was in 1968, It's the same thing. I go in the street, try to distribute some book, it's the same thing. Same obstinacy. There are more difficulties. Can you imagine? I used to distribute books. There was no mobile phones. There was no even credit card. No. People pulled their wallet and gave money. Now it's credit cards and mobile phones and everything became, in the name of progress, much more complicated. They said we are progressing. Nowadays you can, any machine, any gizmo you get, the manual to it, if it's printed, if it's not online, the manual is bigger like the machine. You have a phone like this, and if you get a printed manual, it's a whole book. This is called simple, this is called simplify life. Are you joking? Once they gave Prabhupada a new digital watch, that's 1972 or whatever. Prabhupada, the latest, this is digital watch. Prabhupada took the watch, said, what is it? Where are the, where's the buttons? No, Prabhupada, this watch shows numbers, and it got 4 buttons. You push here, bang, 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 it becomes a stopwatch. You push here, and then the date comes up. You can adjust like this, 4 buttons. Prabhupada said, but my old watch had only 1 button. This watch has 4 buttons. Too complicated for me. I don't think there are many pictures of Prabhupada with a digital watch, Omega watch. Now Prabhupada was sometimes accepting things just because he was merciful, People gave things to him, okay. Prabhupada was so kind. He didn't want ever discourage people to give something. But some of his gifts were very peculiar. I remember Prabhupada dancing in Ratha Yatra in a cowboy shirt. Perfect cowboy shirt. EPA, because they gave it to him. Okay. Just not to discourage people to take part in Krishna consciousness. So this is the attitude we indebted and we inherited from Srila Prabhupada. Try to weigh how to engage people in Bhakti Yoga even without them knowing this. It's called Agyata Sukriti. They don't even know, but they are already engaged. This is the basic line of initiative of preaching. And then, as I become more aware, therefore Prabhupada said, first prasadam, then chanting, and the principles, regulatory principle, that comes later. Only when they get more taste, when they get really taste, I like this chanting, I like this prasadam. then we can say, okay, but to stay steady in Krishna consciousness, there's 4 regulative principles and all this. And still people start to panic sometimes, I mean, you mean you want me to do this whole life? This is the advantage of old age. You know why? Because I just laugh at them and I said, hey, I do this for almost 55 years. Did I die or what? Do I look like suffering even? Come on. By following the 4 regulative principles, we are just avoiding 4 different kind of troubles. That's all. And I can give a long lecture about that. I do it sometimes when they get really curious how much trouble you save by avoiding illicit sex life, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Isn't it what they sometimes try to cure people from? Isn't it? Isn't it? But we do it already naturally. We don't have to even, Prabhupada even insisted. They have government programs to cure people from drug addiction or whatever. Why don't they give the money to us? We do it already, obviously we do it. I saw people stopping taking drugs from one day to the other, and heavy drug abusers. I saw people stopping smoking from one day to the other. And then comes the other things, and I'm not going to lecture about chocolate or whatever. Just don't expect me to be that radical. I am blessed. I cannot eat chocolate. It's too condensed cacao. It just really attacks my broken bronchitis area. But I know devotees, they even day before initiation, they still ate half a kilo chocolate because they know this is the last time. So do I have to meditate the whole day about chocolate? Sorry. Prabhupada was actually addressing the addiction, the attachment. And that you can do even without chocolate. You can get attached to anything. That's the problem in this world. Prabhupada said sannyasi can get attached even to his danda. It's just three bamboo sticks, 4 bamboo sticks, and he goes, not such a big danda. Don't touch my danda. You can get attached to anything. So that we are working on. How? By always looking for the positive taste. Always looking for how to be engaged positively in Krishna consciousness up to the point where you realize, actually I don't need this. I just don't need this. I don't want it. This is the progress. People say, who forbade you to do all these things? Nobody, come on. I can, even in my age, I can go downtown Ljubljana, have some fun. Embarrass myself. Old men do that sometimes, They just, or they buy a motorbike. And impressing the girls. Some girls, they think, hey, it's an old idiot with some money. Good. But it's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. So we don't have to do that in Krishna consciousness. Krishna Prabhupada gave us dignity. This is so beautiful. We don't have to prostitute and compromise ourselves for some cheap few minutes sense gratification. This is so nice. You cannot do that. In as a karmi, you will be victimized and you have to shut up and follow. As a devotee, we are quite obstinate people, Yeah? You must join this. Why shall I join this? I don't know. Who forbade you to do this? Nobody, but I don't want it. They are shocked. You don't want this? But that's the fun. I said, really? It's so easy to ask them, is this a fun? You go skiing and you wake up in a hospital with a broken leg. Ha ha, so funny, isn't it? It's all funny. Actually, if you examine especially today, the Sanskritification, they screw it to such a level that it's almost deadly. Very dangerous, everything. Car racing, skiing, It's and they like it. Demons like the closeness to death. Interesting. It's exciting. I mean, it doesn't take much to think about these things. So we are very proud, very independent, and very obstinate people. I'm not going to join this. Not with me. I don't need it. And still we have to make some compromise. Especially the Grihastha ashrama brings lots of compromise. You cannot talk to the children, you are not this butter, He wants a goodie, It's natural, it's a child. But, Prabhupada said children are like butter. You cannot change the quality of butter. You cannot change a child, essentially. But you can mold it. You can influence it. It's a very nice period of life because the child depends on you. He has no place to go. So then you can try to, Hare Krišna, and this and that. And usually, generally, children don't mind at all. They are the best bhaktas. They just go, Hare Krišna. And, oh my God, I could show you a movie because I followed my daughter with a camera the whole childhood, like this. I mean, she's probably one of the most documented kids on this planet. So, she was in Vrindavan, she was first time, she was half a year old. She couldn't even properly walk. And the Indians were excited. White baby. The Matajis were going crazy. She's Swedish, blonde hair. They went nuts. We had to protect her all the time. Always this Indian women. David, and she hated that. She was already like, why these people are we? And Indians have a very nasty habit with children. They always go like this. And my daughter was like, she hated that. But she was part of everything. She had a miniature sari, like my wife made a miniature sari. She was in the temple programs, all of it. You cannot imagine how she exploded. She was waking us up in the morning. Mangal Artik was like, Kitan, Kitan, Kitan. That was one of the first words she was saying. Kitan, Kitan. She loved this devotees jumping and all this. It was amazing. I have a recording of her coming back to the room in the evening. She had her own kirtan. Nama Om Vishnu Pabaya. Krishna Bhupale. She was like this Jaya Om Vishnu, and then she just copied. And then she was pointing to us. Now you bow down. So we had to bow down. And she was, Krishna, Krishna, and she was falling over because she couldn't even walk. And we couldn't stop her. This was going on until midnight. We were like, can we sleep, please? Krishna, Kirtan, 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 Kirtan. I mean, completely mad. Children are so simple. It's a beautiful time to preach. After that, by the age of 13, 14, 15, then you can really see what you got. Is it a devotee or not? And as we know from Bhagavatam, even a great kings, they got a son after performing all the samskaras and everything. They got a son who was a demon. Oh, that's a great inspiration for detachment, certainly. It's a special lila that built in, but Vena, I mean, what a thing, a royal child, this. As a small child, his hobby was to push other children in deep wells and kill them. Oh, that was funny. Now, children usually don't do that. But usually children of devotees are amazing sometimes, amazing personalities. So, anyway, this is a detail. So it all, Prabhupada defined Bhakti Yoga so simply. He said, look how simple this is. Why not do that? Why not? Prabhupada compared Bhakti Yoga with the elevator. He said the different stages of yoga, you can walk stairs and you go up. But why don't you take the elevator? Ship, and you're up. Sometimes so fast that people get, dizzy, They go, Ma. Oh, love of Godhead. Oh, they start to panic. And that's Maya, of course. And then they try to find some stability back again into the world. And Maya is expert. One of the biggest threats I heard when I joined this movement was coming from my parents, and this is Hare Krishna, you will never get a pension. You'll be an old, penniless, homeless man. Well, basically they were right, yeah? They were actually right. But I don't feel like I'm homeless. Regarding economy, yeah, it's a little bit reckless, yeah. I struggled with this even as a grihasta. I'm not a good money maker. No, simply not so inspired, There are devotees who are very good money makers. And I really appreciate that. One of my godbrothers, proudly, he told me, Prabhupada gave me only one instruction. Make money. He was beaming with ecstasy. Because Prabhupada knew exactly. He will make it anyway. So why not for Krishna? Prabhupada was totally expert to ascertain the conditioning and the quality of a person. That godbrother of mine collected so much money. Without him, you wouldn't see Vrindavan temple, you wouldn't see Mayapur temple starting. How he collected the money? That's another story. I'm going to talk about that. Prabhupada must have known that, but he took the risk. Because when you start, my Prabhupada said, I have one problem my whole life. I cannot sing small. I can only sing big. Which fits exactly into the mood of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the planet. Because that's what he did. Prabhupada was never satisfied. Oh, very nice. So we have already 3 buildings, 4 buildings. Oh, we have this temple. Great. Let's just be peaceful. Chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, go on, more. I will read you a letter from Prabhupada, which is, I love that one, which is very, in Ljubljana to read this, I feel it's very befitting. Very befitting. This is my little dictionary here. It's just quotes from Prabhupada. As soon as center is opened, and my disciples conduct it nicely, it gives me Vaikuntha bliss. Vamanadev is doing very nicely in St. Louis, and I am sending here with some pictures of his activities. So Balimardan and Upendra are doing in Sydney also. All these news are to me like life-giving ambrosia. So the more you open branches, the more I increase my duration of life. Therefore, if you, all my students, want me to live for some days more, go on opening nice branches, as many as possible. This is Prabhupada. But I don't like this temple. How many times we heard this, right? In the later generations. Why don't you like the temple? I don't know. I feel emotional discomfort. There's some authority in a temple. Prabhupada, this was already happening during Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada, a simple solution to that. He said, oh, then you open a temple. You temple, open it. Go ahead. You're my blessing. Go. That's the solution to the problem, isn't it? And that there might be different centers with a kind of different moods sometimes. I'm not speaking about changes, radical changes now. I could give you a list of changes, okay? Yeah? You end up with standards, no B on Ekadashi, or something like that, okay? That's already too far. But there are different moods. We are persons, different persons. And it will be, the leader makes an impact one way or another. Sometimes as the leaders being criticized, they make too much impact. Sometimes as the leaders being criticized, they make too little impact. If you are a leader, better you get used to it to get criticized. If you are not used to it, you are in the wrong place. Therefore, usually, there is two classes of devotees who can assume that leadership. This is a Brahminical class, because they are tolerant. Okay, yeah. Hare Krišna. Or Kshatriya class. They go, you want to challenge me? Oh, that's good. More challenge, please. Come on, come on, come on. Once I asked my GBC, after being 15 years temple president, how can a temple president avoid problems? He started to laugh loud in front of everybody. He said, temple president avoiding problems. He said, temple president eats problems for the breakfast. I felt completely inspired. I was going, yeah, that's my life, yeah. Because my nature is when things go really crazy, I go, oh, there's something to do, isn't it? Action. But this is my nature. So people have different natures. Now we have congregational places. That's basically, honestly spoken, that's most of the ISKCON today. Congregational places everywhere. You could call it centers, depends on the standards, but it's a grouping of devotees, of local devotees, because Grihastha ashrama doesn't give you much freedom to travel. Usually not, you are quite nailed. So you create a congregational thing. It's very much based on children. Grihasthas face two problems. Where will my children go to school? And where will I make my money to survive? And that gives you a certain locations already. Then there are really good, amazing grihasthas who can survive everywhere. They are on the internet, they are very flexible. That's exceptional. You know, so you create a local congregational thing. Most of the year I travel in this kind of places. This is for me a big temple. You know, this is a really big temple. Sometimes they say, you know, the program may be not so big. There's only 10 people coming. I go, well, that's a big program. Personally, I like this small. Even this crew now here, I like this. Because things are more personal, you know. I can, to some degree, a little bit read your minds. Sorry, don't be afraid. I can basically know your response. I need that. This is nice. I gave a lecture in Russia in front of 7,000 devotees. I'm not joking. I felt a little bit alone, you know. I was sitting on a huge stage and it was just 7,000 devotees. A festival, Black Sea, you know. This is Russia, you know. Russians never come alone. When it's one Russian, there's 100 more coming, guarantee. So, you know, it's like, but I felt quite lonely, you know, on that big stage, and I couldn't see hardly much anybody personally. So, you know, but anyway, it's impressive, you know. When you see 7,000 devotees dancing together in kirtan, like waves, you know, it goes like this. And Russians, they love it. They really are disciplined. They go in formations and they just love it to be many Russians together. It's graved into the nation. Anyway, so it's also nice. But most of the ISKCON in Europe, I see, it's just 10 devotees here, 5 devotees there, And Srila Prabhupada was expecting, yes, the temple should be in a central position. Whatever happens or not happens, we cannot control it. This is a voluntary movement. People come voluntary, they go voluntary. You cannot change it. And Prabhupada, all this, I can give one quote on another in his letters. He tells managers, don't expect anything else. You cannot control the situation, ultimately. Prabhupada writes in these beautiful letters, where he writes, be careful. People come voluntarily. So don't try to encourage that spirit of volunteer service, volunteer this. And sometimes, you have to make a compromise a little bit. If it doesn't go beyond the 4 regulatory principles, that's a limit. Once Prabhupada said, if I wouldn't establish this 4 regulatory principle, I would have millions of disciples. And even then, Srila Prabhupada got alarmed. He said, I am initiating more and more useless people. He noticed. So he installed that principle, no initiation without recommendation. Because he expected that the local managers and local devotees, well, probably they will not surround themselves with some really useless people. And believe me or not, there are useless people on this planet. You cannot teach them anything, you cannot do anything with them. It's karma. What can you do? You can give them prasadam, that's all this, we are doing this. But you cannot implement them really much. They are just like this, unfortunate. They asked Prabhupada, how can we engage these people? So I said, no, we cannot. How can we inspire people who absolutely don't want to come close to Krishna consciousness to become Krishna conscious? I said, no, we cannot. What will happen to them? Prabhupada said, they will go to hell. He was very quick, very clear about this. Now, of course, devotees try to prevent that. But we have our limits. Prabhupada found his limits, even amongst his disciples. That can be historically documented. On one morning walk, Prabhupada gets angry. You can hear the voice. He goes, yesterday one of my disciples asked me for blessings to find another guru. And Prabhupada is, what an offense. What an obnoxious attitude. People do these kind of things. Gurus, they will probably know what I'm talking about. It's a horrible service. Disciples open the heart to you. What you find inside, it's a horror. My dear Guru, you take the karma and I take the bliss, okay? Isn't it a deal? I remember my godbrother starting initiating. I was at the early age of the new guru movement. I could say lots of things about that because I was close to it. I was supposed to be also involved. I said, not with me, okay? Boys, I wish you good luck, but not with me. I was a little bit cowardly, and also I felt entirely unqualified. Like those 11 names you find on a paper Prabhupada left behind. Oof. I can comment on that. I was close to it. I just met some brothers who were on that list. I worked under one who was on that list for 25 years. And I saw him becoming a guru. You cannot imagine. All these rascal theories that there was 11 men dividing ISKCON amongst themselves. Now, there was ambitions, definitely. There was, some of them went very pleased. But I would say most of them were in panic. I can give you names, okay? Hidayanda Maharaj, he was in South America. They had to look in a jungle for him. He was hiding. Hey, come on, you're on the list. He was going, are you crazy? Me? I was in the first Guru Puja on Hare Krišna. That was my GBC. It was actually quite crazy because everybody was there, including God brothers. This is technically not exactly correct, but there was the first disciples. It was a big trouble because some of the first disciples of the Gurus used to be the God brothers. They got first initiation from Prabhupada, second initiation from a God brother. Didn't really work, that. They couldn't switch the mood really very good. Not much left from that. Anyway, I am not a big student of the Guru Tattva in ISKCON, but I saw it. Hare Krišna, the first Guru Puja offered to him. First of all, you have to understand the pain and the loss of Prabhupada was projected into this 11 men. What a pressure they were under. It was the public which pressurized them. There was preached openly that Prabhupada divided himself into 11. Not true. To some degree, yeah, true, yeah. But I think the essential mistake was done that these 11 names were considered the end. No, it was the beginning. How else comes that Prabhupada said, I want all my disciples to become gurus? He said that also. But he wanted to leave behind some structure, GBC and all this, so it doesn't become total chaos. So he gave these 11 names. Unfortunately, the expectations were extreme. I remember Hare Krišna, first they built in Germany, they built a second Vyasasana next to Prabhupada. And I remember him crawling on the floor, looking that his Vyasasana must be lower as Prabhupada. He was one of the very few who said, boys, let's take it easy. He said like this. I saw him doing like this. Let's start like this. This high Vyasasana. And see how we are doing. No. There were other names I don't want to necessarily mention. They said, how can we lower the worship of a guru Prabhupada established? And then this huge Vyasasanas came up, creations, amazing, bigger like Prabhupada's. And the whole, it came out like this. And they were empowered. Because, believe it or not, there were things happening under their guidance which today we cannot even dream about. Under Hare Krišna were more books published in more languages and printed and distributed in his zone, North European zone, as during Prabhupada's presence on the whole planet. Whoop. Now I would call this a service, yeah. This is amazing. I saw amazing things happening. I saw amazing book distribution numbers coming up. Empowered devotees. I was like 3-4 years number one in Europe. It was nothing. After me came disciples of my God brothers. They overpowered me completely. Now, you can say the numbers. And I remember Hare Krišna sitting, his first Vyasa Puja. Sri Guru, and he had the cardles like this. And in the middle of the Guru Puja, he flipped out. He put the cardles down and ran out of the temple room crying, "You're all crazy! I'm not Prabhupada!" And he ran to his room and locked himself in. We were all, that's the beginning of the new Guru Tattva. I mean, he couldn't picture the impact of that responsibility. And the heritage of Prabhupada, it's huge. It's so huge, we are still trying to understand what it is. To walk in Prabhupada's footsteps is not easy. You know why? They are so big. You can get lost in it. It's huge. So just imagine this 11 men under what kind of pressure they were. I was the first year, 1978 in Mayapur. You cannot imagine the scenery. There was 11 small Vyasasans placed next to Prabhupada Vyasasan. Everybody was in the program, all dancing together. You know, and then all the 11 gurus sit down in a lecture, nobody left. And one gave a lecture. And then was a question and answers. Hare Krishna asked, I have a question. How can we control envy? And everybody was like, he said, you see, Bhagavan sitting there. He just got, as a Guru Dakshin, golden watch. I'm so envious on him. How can I control it? It's a joke. Everybody laughed, you know. It was an absolutely enthusiastic, united atmosphere there. I thought, this is amazing. This will not stop. We are just starting. This is just a little bit nostalgia from my side because I was there in the temple room. So something of that we should keep intact. Something. Because that's the only guarantee we can keep on going. You know. Therefore, that's the reason why I am so keen, at least verbally, support book distribution. Going out distributing few books, yeah, sure. I cannot go anymore 8 to 8 as I used to go. That was our standard. 500 books a week was the quota. You know, it didn't went back to the temple. I had 498 books. The last 2, I finished somebody on a gas station to do this. Before I came to the temple, we were fanatics. Fanatics. You know. So, the books will stay. And as long as we have the books as the basis, we are operating on a safe ground. Other things I saw coming and disappearing again. You know. I'm so happy when I come to the same place, the same temple, it's still existing with the same devotees in it. I get so inspired. Ljubljana is on the top of my list. It's the same devotees, horrible. You know what it takes day after day to manage, maintain. You can say, well, it's the same thing again, isn't it, every day? Well, that's the problem. How do you do the same thing every day? The curtain goes open. I wasn't here. I was actually, Ljubljana is a story on its own. I was here in times they want to sell this building. Crisis times. Fortunately, it didn't happen. I could never imagine it will come back to this again. That's nice. Now I come more regularly. Anytime I go to open, there is Panchatattva, same pujari there. Now nobody can tell me this devotee is always in ecstasy. Maybe there are days he is not. You know, maybe. I just as an example. You know. I can become very personal here. Lalita Govinda, Anat, I know. This man I saw joining. Student of mathematics, right? Yeah? He was studying during the day or at night and serving here during the day. I was going, he's not sleeping. The man is not sleeping. No wonder he was going, I have some migraine, some headaches. I said, of course, he's not sleeping. I would have migraine too, you know. Just, maybe he doesn't remember it, but when he was coming in the door here, I was around, I told him, I pray for you that they will never make you to a temple president. And I knew they will do that, of course. Because the durability and responsibility of this devotee is so evident. Same thing, every day. You know, Lalita is for me like walking deity, you know. He's like, I could cast him in marble or something like that. I was with these guys on Padayatra, you know. We started actually Padayatra in Slovenia. It was a whole thing. Lalita was like, we load the car, the bulls come out, boom, 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 you know. I mean, remembers me always, even some of my godbrothers. One of my godbrothers, he's not in the shape I used to know him. Things changed. He changed. But he said once, I still quote him because he said such a wonderful thing. He said, if you want to know who real devotee is, you look around in 40 years, look behind you. If he is standing still there,